So how did you get this position
Hold
here? How did you get this position here at Lawton Childs?
I had worked at a charter school for a while. Ultimately, I graduated with my master's, and I was loving what I was doing. I was at a school, and suddenly my principal passed away. He got in a car accident. And from that, I sort of realized that where I was at the charter school was not where I wanted to be for long term. I think it sort of woke me up to other possibilities of other places to be at. So I wanted to get into Orange County. It's a great, as a teacher, it's a great place to be. And so I transitioned to pre-K autism unit at Sunrise. Mm-hmm. I got to sort of partner with a phenomenal teacher, and she loves pre-K autism. She is just so incredibly good at the ASD classroom and the design and the setup, and so I essentially had this amazing opportunity to just see everything in action for about 3 months. I had my own classroom, but it was just really an imitation of her classroom. Mm-hmm. And so when that job ended, they were not keeping the unit, so I was able to come to Lawton Childs. The two principals really helped me out. I'm so happy to be here, and so I was able to get all these awesome visual resources and just a layout and an understanding of pre-K to bring into varying exceptionalities. So this is definitely, I love what I do, I love the room I'm in, and it all worked out.
Awesome. So what do you enjoy most about being a teacher then?
I enjoy two parts most. One is seeing the growth of the students. Pre-K has a ton of growth. Sometimes we have the kids for almost 3 years. And so seeing them grow and just do things that almost exceed my expectations is extremely rewarding. I think that watching them grow through the years of these and seeing that progress and almost being able to just share that with everyone to say, oh, when he came in, he only said mama, dada, and now he's leaving, he's going to kindergarten, he doesn't even need his IEP anymore, he's on grade level or age level. The other part is I have a phenomenal teaching assistant. Miss W is definitely my absolute favorite person to work with. She's wonderful, and our partnership is unlike anything I've ever seen, in education. And I think that having that phenomenal partner is what makes me love my job.
Awesome. So what do you find most difficult about being a teacher?
As a Title I teacher, we are up against a lot of socioeconomical challenges that we really don't have control over. We are blessed to be able to give them free lunch and free breakfast, and those things we can help with, but I can't go home with them. I can't go home with them and read to them at night or nurture them in that way, and so that is challenging. The part that we don't have control over is very, it's just hard to watch sometimes. To know what would be in their best interest may not be happening at home, and that's hard to watch sometimes.
Yeah. So I've had other teachers and students tell me how their teachers get burnt out so quickly. So how do you keep yourself from getting burnt out and staying motivated?
That's a really good question to ask right before spring break. There's kind of three things I can think of. One of them is that Miss W and I laugh every day. Mm-hmm. Every day we laugh. I think that sometimes when a child is having a complete meltdown and we're singing and dancing through it, to distract them and sort of to distract ourselves from what's happening, laughing is a huge, huge part of that. Not taking it all too seriously. I think that you can plan and plan and plan for hours and walk in and know that in the first 45 minutes it's not going to work. Yeah. And you have to be able to let that go and laugh about it. Secondly is there are things that I do when I go home. There's things that Miss W does when she goes home to just relax and to let it go. So mine is coffee. I go home and I have a cup of coffee with my husband, or I have a cup of coffee and sit on the porch. And I think that decompressing from the day is so incredibly important, because you have to be able to let it go and enjoy some time at home to be able to come back refreshed the next day. I think the third thing is, this is something that my husband's professor, because he's also a teacher, told him was teachers need to travel. And I think that's really true. I think teachers need to be able to see other things, to be able to bring that back to their kids. But I think that we are in four walls for so much of our day, that when we have this time off, we have to get out and take a break and breathe. And you do sort of live for those breaks, but we get them. And so just enjoying them and refreshing during that time is really important.
Okay. So, as a teacher, what would your advice be to a college student like myself who's going into education?
My advice would be, I think when you're imagining your future, sometimes it's easy to lock yourself into a grade level or maybe even a specific section of education. There are people who have backgrounds in ESE who are phenomenal kindergarten teachers. There are people who went into teaching thinking they were going to teach high school and now they teach elementary school. I think you have to be flexible. The job you want isn't always available at the time that you want it. And there's a fluidity to education, but there are universal truths. And you may, when I started, I never ever would have imagined myself in pre-K. It's not what I thought I wanted, but it's absolutely where I'm so happy here. And so I think you have to give yourself the fluidity to just ride with it, whatever that is. See where you end up, try things out. You may one year have a huge kindergarten population and the next year only have enough for 2 classes. And so you have to be willing to move around where you're needed and feel confident that you can.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so
Cool.
much.